By the end of this video, we're going to have our player animated and walking around our game. We're also going to set up our idle sprites, which for me are just still static sprites, but I'll show you how to do animations for that as well. I'm currently using 4 directional sprites, but even if you have 8 directions so your player can move diagonally, I'll also show you how to set that up. So this is for everyone, as long as you're making a top-down game. If you haven't done the previous video, I'll link that below so you can get your player moving. Otherwise, let's get started. So first of all, let's go to our Ninja Adventure asset pack. And if you don't have it yet, I'll link it below so you can download it for free, or you can use whatever sprites you want. And in here, we'll go to Actor, Characters, and I'm using the Masked Frog. So I'm going to go into Masked Frog and then Separate Animations. And we've got in our idle for our character. We're going to want that, and we're also going to want our walking animations. So I'm going to drag that into our assets. Then I'll click on our walking animation, and if you haven't done this for your idle yet, you can hold down Control and click idle and walk to do these both at the same time. What you want to do is set sprite mode to be multiple, since we've got multiple sprites here. Pixels per unit to be 16, since these are 16 by 16 sprites. Filter mode to be point no filter, and compression to be none to keep our sprites crisp. Now we need to cut out these individual sprites, so we'll go to Sprite Editor, click Slice, type will be grid by cell size, pixel size to be 16 by 16, and then click Slice. Then click Apply. Now we can close this off with the little X in the corner, and you'll see that all our sprites are now individually cut out. Next, to be able to do our animations, we're going to want 2 new windows. So at the top, go to Window, Animation, and then click Animation, and drag this in next to your game view. Then we'll want another one from Window, Animation, called Animator, and we'll leave that next to our scene view. So now if you click on Player, and down in our animation window, you'll see it says we can create an animator and an animation clip for our player by clicking this Create button. If we click Create, we can right click and go New Folder and call this Animation. Then double click on here to save all our animations in one place. I'm going to rename this animation Walk Down, as I'm first going to animate our frog walking down the screen, so facing towards us. I'm going to click Save, and if we double click inside our animation folder, we'll now see we've got a Player Animator Controller and a Walk Down animation clip. If we select our player in the hierarchy and scroll down, we can see this has added an animator component to our player and slotted in the player controller. If you go to the animator tab at the top, this is our player's animation controller and will be where all our animations appear, but we won't look at that for now. So now if we go back to our assets and open up our walking sprites, I'm going to click on our first sprite and then hold down Control and find all our sprites where our frog is facing us. So that's 0, 4, 8, and 12. I'm going to drag these over into our animation window. I'm going to zoom in on our frog. If in the top right of your scene view, you can click this little orb with dots. That will get rid of your gizmos so you can see your frog sprites better. If I press play, you'll see he walks very, very fast. To make this slower, what I'm going to do is drag this out to around the 1 second. Now if I press play, you'll see he walks and then at the very end, he does a little jitter. This is because we're jumping back to the first frame really fast, so we never get to see that final frame. So if we zoom out and grab our final frame again, we can stick that 20 seconds later, since that's the spacing between all our sprites, at the very end to stop that from flickering. So now our froggy's doing a nice little run. Now we're going to want to do this for all our other directions. So making sure your player is selected, where it says walk down in this animation section, if you click on this and then click Create New Clip, we'll be able to create a new animation. And next I'm going to do walk left. So walk left is going to be 2, 6, 10, and 14 for me, and whatever your sprites are for you. Drag them in, drag them out to 1, grab the final frame and stick it in 120. Press play to check it out. There he goes. Again, walk right, 3, 7, 11, 15. Drag it in, drag it out, grab the final frame to 120. Test it with play. There he goes. And finally, walk up. It's 1, 5, 9, and 13. Drag it in, drag it out. Final frame, 120. And there he goes. If you want that to be a bit faster, what you can do is press Ctrl and A, which will grab all your frames, and you can pull these in to whatever speed you want. So we could pull this back to be actually 1. which I actually prefer, and I'm going to go back and change all my sprites to do this. So just Control A and drag it to where you want to be. Cool. Now, even though my idle for this character doesn't have different sprites, I've only got a single sprite for each idle frame, I'm still going to want to create an animation. I'm still going to want to create an animation clip so that our animator has something to call just to make him stand still. So in the same drop down, I'm going to go create new clip and go idle down, drag in the single clip, create new clip, idle left, drag in the sprite, create new clip, idle right, drag him in, create new clip, idle up, and drag him in. You can see when we press play, this doesn't do anything. If you did want to add some kind of idle animation to your player, but you don't have the sprites for it like me, what you could do is over here in the animation, there's a little record button. If you press that and drag your mouse to around 0.30, you could scale his Y down by going 0.9, click on your first frames at 0, then do Control C to copy these, move your cursor to the 1 second mark, do Control V to paste them. And then when you press play, you'll see your frog does this little in and out animation. We don't want his bottom half to actually be squeezing in and out like that. So if we go to the 0.30 second mark and do position in Y to be minus 0.1, then go back to the 0 mark and copy these frames back to the 1 second mark and paste that back over. Now when we press play, our frog does a kind of little bounce in place. Just about. It's not perfect. That's just an option if you don't want your character to be static. You could always just make your own frame of a sprite. I'm just going to keep him still while he idles. So I'm going to delete all of these and just leave it as a sprite. So he won't move while he's idling. But cool, now we've got all our animations ready. We can check our animator scene and see every animation we've made is all collected up here. Now we're actually going to create something cleaner instead of having all of these different animations to look at. So you can select all of these by dragging your mouse over them and then press delete. Don't worry, they're still here in our assets. But what we're instead going to do is right click next to entry, hover over create state, and then click from new blend tree. We'll click on this blend tree and call it idle. So we're going to stick all our idle animations inside this one idle blend tree. If we double click on this, and on our blend tree, we can now see its details in the inspector. The blend type we're going to want to use is going to be 2D simple directional. And we're going to want two parameters inside here for our X and our Y. Over on the left, we can create these parameters. So it will be selected on layers. You just have to click on the tab that says parameters. And then under here, we have a plus. If you click on this and then click float, for our idle, what we're going to want to know is the last direction we've moved in. So you're moving, you're walking, and then when you stop, which direction have you stopped in? So we'll name this last input X. And we'll need another one. So click the plus, new float, called last input Y. Cool, now using these in our parameters, we're going to want to go last input X by last input Y. Now this motion is for the different directions that our player can face. Even though we only have 4 animations, a top-down character can move in 8 directions. So if this is our character, we can go up and down and left and right, like we know, but we can also move diagonally. So, I gotta draw the arrows. So even though I don't have animations set up for these directions, I'm still going to want the correct sprite to display. If you do have sprites for diagonal movement, this is where you can put these in. So this will work for you if you've got 8 directional sprites as well, or if you've only got 4. So cool. What I meant by all that is that we need 8 motions in here. So click on the plus and go add new motion field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Now we have to set up these position X and position Ys. You can see up the top here, this dot in the middle is our player, and we need to get all these little diamonds around the player in the correct position. So idle down is our character facing down towards us. Let's put that one in first. And our X will be 0 because we're staying straight down the middle, and our position is going to be -1. You can see this moves it straight down. So when our player is moving in this down position, we're going to play the idle down. Next, let's do idle left. So drag that into our next motion slot. Our Y, we want it to stay in the middle of our player. And our X, we want it to move over to the left. So that's -1. So idle left is -1 by 0. Idle right will be 1 by 0, since we want it to the right. And then 0 on the Y axis, straight in the middle. And then idle up, if you can guess, is 0 on the X and 1 on the Y. You can see now we've got our basic 4 directions. Next we need to set up our diagonals. So on your X position and Y position, we'll go 1, 1. So this is a diagonally right. For me, if I was walking diagonally right, and I only have 4 directional sprites to play with, I'm not going to use idle up, I'm going to use idle right. So if we're walking to the right in any way, it's going to be a right directional sprite. The other idle right we're going to do will be if we're walking to the right, so that will be 1 again, but down and right. So down towards the camera and right. This way, I'm sure you get what I mean. We'll walk in the right again, anything on the right side, right sprite. And then to the left, which will be -1 and 1. So that's top left, idle left again, -1 and -1. That'll be bottom left. So cool, hopefully that all made sense. What we're going to want to do now is click on base layer at the top, right click next to idle, create state, and go from new blend tree. Click on this, and I'm going to name this walk. So this is going to be our walking animations or running animations, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to double click on this, click on our blend tree, and exactly the same blend type we want to be 2D simple directional. And now our parameters, we want some new parameters again. So we don't want our last inputs, we actually want a live feed of our current inputs. So I'm going to just call this input X, click on the plus, new float, input Y. So these will update as our player pushes in an input, either by keyboard or controller. Then on our parameters drop down, change from blend to input X, and then input Y. And once again, I want 8 different motions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool, so again, I'll speed through it this time since you kind of know what I'm doing. But we've got walk down, -1. Walk left, walk right, walk up. So walk left, -1 by 0, walk right, 1 by 0, walk up, 0 by 1. And then our diagonals will be walk right, 1, 1 in the X, -1 and 1. Okay, I'm saying that weird. You can look at my screen so you don't get messed up. Walk left, first walk left, be -1 by 1. Then the second is -1 by -1. So you should have all of these diamonds circling around. It doesn't matter what order your motions are in. See, I can drag these around, it doesn't do anything. Just as long as your positions are correct with this animation clip. So cool. One more thing to do in the animator, which is if we go back to our base layer and zoom on in, we're going to need to set up our transitions. So I'm actually going to drag this down below our entry. Makes no difference, I'm just doing it so I can zoom in easier for you. So our base entry point, when our player enters the scene, is going to go straight into idling, which is great. Now we want to right click on idle and click make transition and drag this over to our walk. So we want to be able to go from idling to walking. You can click on this transition by clicking on this line arrow. And over here in the settings, I'm going to open up the settings panel so we can see it some more. And what we want to do here is untick has exit time, untick fixed duration, and set transition duration to 0. What this means is that as soon as we start walking, we want to show the walking animation. We don't want it to wait at all for any idle animations to end. We want it to be an instant switch. Now we need to know when we want to start walking. So down the bottom, we can add in conditions. If you click the plus, you'll see we can use one of our parameters as a way to check if we're moving or not. To make it real simple, over in our parameters, click the plus, click bool, and call this is walking. Now just a heads up, your casing does matter in these animation strings. And by casing, I mean the capital letters. So I've done lowercase I and capital W in is walking. If I typed this wrong when using this in my code, it won't work. So make sure your casing is the way you like it and the way you'll remember. Now back to our idle to walk transition in conditions. We can now click on this drop down and click is walking. So if is walking is true, we want to start walking. If we now click on our walk animation, we can right click on this, click make transition, and click back to idle. Click on this arrow pointing towards idle, and we're going to want the same steps. Untick has exit time, untick fixed duration, set transition duration to 0, add our condition down the bottom, go is walking, and we want it to be if is walking is set to false. So we're no longer walking, we want to go back to idle. Cool, so now our animator's all set up. Next thing to do is get into the code and get our animations playing. So I'm going to click on my player and scroll down to our player movement script. I can double click on this to open it up, and then at the top in our variables, I'm going to type private animator called animator. Then in our start, same way we did for our rigid body, I'm going to go animator equals get component and pass in animator. So we can grab our animator component off of our player. Now in our move function, at the very top we can go animator dot set bool, and inside our brackets, we want to pass in the name of our parameter inside our animator that we want to set. There's a tongue twister. Name of our parameter inside our animator. Name of our parameter inside our animator. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we want to set is walking to be true. Then after we've got our move input, we can use this to set in our animator's input X and input Y, which we use for our walking animation. So let's go animator dot set float and pass in input X, comma, then we can use our move input and say dot X. If we hold down Control and then press D, you could duplicate this line, change input X to input Y, and move input.X to move input.Y. So cool, now we know when we're walking, we're going to set it to true, and when we're moving, we'll be able to grab our move input X and Y. But how do we know when we've stopped walking, and how do we store our last X and Y for our idle animation? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I know the answer. Underneath where I set is walking, I'm going to go if our context is dot cancelled, which is something that gets set if we've let go of our button or sprung our joystick on our controller back to the center. Then we'll set our animator dot set bool is walking to be false, our animator dot set float last input X to be our move input dot X. Because we haven't set this yet, this will be our last input that we've done before we stopped, since we haven't reread the value to be 0 yet. So make sure this does happen before you set your move input to be the new context read value. And then again, we can do Control D on this line and change last input X to Y and move input.Y. So just to make it easy, we always set is walking to true at the top, and then we check, actually, has it been cancelled? And if it has, we set this back to false. And guess what? That's all we need in the code. So let's go back to Unity. Now, if I press play, you can see with the animator open, this is playing our idle over and over again. It looks a little scary, but that's just because I only have one frame. So it's just calling that frame again and again. Now, if I walk, you can see our walking animation plays and it moves in all our different directions. You can see our parameters are flickering around at the top as well. They're all changing. And when we stop moving, it saves our last direction. If we double click on our walk blend tree, it's pretty cool. You can see this triggering all our different paths. But cool, we've got our little guy animated. Like I said, this will work for 8-directional if you've got the sprites for it. You just have to drag them into the right spots into your blend tree. I've got another video on it if you want to see it more clearly with the 8-directional sprites. But yeah, all done. If you don't feel like animating this yourself and you want to grab this whole package, you can grab it on my Patreon, as well as every other script I've ever written for this whole channel. In the next video, we're going to make a nice little world for our frog to run around in. So we're going to look at tile maps and sprite sheets and layering our tile maps so our player can walk behind objects in the game, in front of objects in the game, collide with objects in the game. It's going to be great. So I hope to see you in the next one. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.